everybody, this is Jeff Sutherland and welcome to another edition of Jeff Star Talk Show along with Discovery Park. We're here on the air, so make sure you tell a friend. We're here on location at the CBS studios in Hollywood, California for the opening of our show today, which is dedicated to Mickey Sonardi, Showstopper Star Spectacular. Along with Julia Reams and the Western Roundup, it's going to be quite a show. And across from me here is the one and only Jeff Connors, the son of the Rifleman, Chuck Connors. And we'll be talking to him a little bit later on, so stay tuned. And I'm going to get over here on the other side of the table and I can interview Jeff Connors. And I like both those names, by the way. They're real good names.
And my daughter, Nikki.
And his lovely daughter, Nikki. So stay tuned. We'll be doing an interview, so don't go away. Okay, this is Jeff Sutherland. We're back here and our show continues. Jeff Star Talk, Discovery Park at the CBS Center in Hollywood. And the music is in the back. We're having a great time on the New York street. And this is the one and only Jeff Connors, the son of Chuck Connors and his lovely daughter.
Howdy, my daughter Nikki.
Hi, Nikki. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
That's Nikki Connors. And Jeff, is this your very first collector show?
Yeah, collector show. I did some gun shows in Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Wanamaker is one of the biggest.
Oh yeah, very big, very big.
And what happened there was the people were lining up, but they wanted to share with me what the Rifleman meant to them growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So most people that I talked to, they always said I grew up with the Rifleman.
Yeah.
It was a year ago, January, the producers finally came out with a 24-hour marathon on the Rifleman. And for the last year, there's kids of today that are watching it and
they love it.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, if you're not a fan, everybody should be a fan of the Rifleman. If you're not, and you haven't seen it in a while, I think it's been announced that DVD is coming out with a complete series.
That's what we hear. They're going to, this time in order. Mm-hmm. All 168 episodes in order, airing dates, titles.
Great.
And the Rifleman producers, they took all 168 episodes and digitally remastered them, and the Western Channel's showing it, Encore. But I get 30 emails at least a week from people around the country. In fact, this one kid, his name's Matthew, he's like 13. He got hooked on the Rifleman, and his grades went from F's to A's.
Isn't that right? Well, I tell you what, Jeff. And it's not just because you're sitting here along with your lovely daughter, but it's also that, did you notice that those shows have a very good moral standard?
Well, that's the whole
love relationship between Lucas McCain and Mark McCain.
And the music had a lot to do with it too. But there was one, I think it was Johnny gets nipped by a horse.
Yes.
And he thinks he has anthrax. But at the end of the show, real intimate scene, my dad says, "Is everything okay?" And then Johnny breaks down with tears, and my dad says, "Well, you've never kept anything." But the intimacy was so close,
yes.
And then the hugging.
I know.
And back then,
and even the kissing, from father son. It's great.
But it helped. I've met a lot of women that grew up with abusive fathers, but they just clung on to my dad, and it helped them get through life. And I met a gentleman out of Virginia that his dad just treated him like crap, but he grew up with the Rifleman and finally was able to meet my dad in person.
Yep.
Something on your mind, son? Well, let's sit down and talk it out.
You aren't really scared of him, are you?
What do you think? Mark, you don't always have to be better than everybody. With a rifle or anything else, as long as a man can do what he has to do when it counts. Just having people call you best isn't important.
But it is to Mr. Kellicott. Is that why he didn't want to do it?
And he might have beat me.
But he might not have.
I wouldn't have cared if he had. Would you?
I don't know. Maybe not too much, but I think it would have mattered to Mr. Kellicott.
Well, that's all he's got left now, son. His reputation. His world's gone. It's hard for a man to see everything changing.
Are all those things he says true?
Oh, some of them anyway, son. He did some pretty amazing things, but he got to be kind of a legend. They wrote stories about him in magazines and dime novels, and maybe those writers stretched the truth a little. Now I guess Cass believes, well, he believes too many of those stories. But anyway, they made him a hero to a lot of boys.
You, Paul? That why you didn't want to beat him?
Don't you have any chores to do?
And my dad got...
And who's the producers of this show? There was 3 of them.
Jules Levy, Arthur Gardner, and Arnold Laverne. Jules Levy has been dead he passed away, sorry. He passed away about 7, 8 years ago.
One I met at the Golden Boot. Which one of them? I met the other survivor.
Arthur Gardner's 97. Arnold Laverne is in his 80s. But Arthur Gardner's son, Stephen, who's a lawyer, he kind of took Jules Levy's place, and he kind of makes the decisions for it.
Well, I tell you, there's also 10 years later, Big Valley was produced by them same men, and it was a very well-known show too. But I think that shows like Andy Griffith and the Will McCoys and the Rifleman, because of the family ties, they could be shown in Sunday school, and it'd be a fine lesson to learn.
Yeah. But in fact, there's a girl in Virginia. Her name's Haley Russell. That she won't miss it.
No.
And I sent her a picture, this really neat picture of my dad, and she flipped out. She said, "Oh my God!" But it's nice to hear, and my daughter Nikki, you know, the kids at school, they know her grandfather. Yeah. And
Chuck Connors, who was also a baseball player.
Baseball player. He played.
Was the Dodgers and the Cubs a little bit?
Yeah, he always liked to say he had a cup of coffee with with the Brooklyn Dodgers. He was up at bat once, but how many people can say that?
How many people can say that?
So then he played for the Chicago Cubs a little while, and he played with the Celtics. First NBA.
That's right, he did.
First NBA player to break a backboard. And then he played for the LA Angels, and that's where. And I heard this story for the first time. I'm going, Dad, you did cartwheels around the bases and hit a home run? He goes, it was a minor league team. I go, but Dad, is it a true story? He goes, yeah. But there was a director in the audience, and he was with his secretary. He goes, I want him in my office Monday.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then there you go.
Well, see, and also we loved him. I remember this old Superman episode where your dad was in it. That was a kick, where he actually thought he was Superman. Yeah, the mule.
What's the mule?
And then
that was always fun to hear about that. And he appeared on Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
I just found that out about a month ago, and there's one scene where they actually show him taller than James Arness, but James Arness was 6'7".
Yeah.
My dad was 6'6". I don't know why they did that.
I don't know. And I was up right beside Clint Walker, that was 6'6", and I was right up there with him. Yeah.
You know, we both, when we lived in the valley, San Fernando Valley on Winnetka and Hatteras, and the street was called Penfield, and up we had a hill, and Clint Walker lived on the top of there, and then once we moved up above Taft High School in Woodland Hills, Clint lived down the bottom of the hill from us. And I remember coming to a stop sign one time, and he was walking on the street, and I'm going, good God, look at the size of this guy's shoulders. And he was a good-looking guy.
Yeah, big and good-looking, yeah.